which is, nothing to, you can't discount that. It's really important. And she leads the conference in almost every offensive category. So she's going to be just an essential part of the Huskies attack today.
Take a look now at your starting lineups for this one. In Providence, a team averaging a little over 2 goals per contest, but the main reason of their success is their back line. And the starting lineup, you got a number of key contributors, including Corinne Kenny, who is a first-team all-conference member. She will have to be the rock in center half. It's a pair of grad students in the spine. Now, on the opposite side for University of Connecticut, in addition to the outstanding work of Boker this season, keep an eye out for their outstanding midfielder from Norwich, England. That's Abby Gooderham, who also picked up all-conference accolades. We are underway here in semifinal number 1. And the winner to move on to the championship come in just 2 days' time. Providence wearing their road black jerseys with the silver numbers. UConn in their home whites going from left to right. Kirsten, as we look at this matchup here, we obviously know the class that UConn will bring to the table. They're a group that love to fire, love to pepper shots on cage. They average over 3.5 goals per game. These first 5 minutes or so, if you're Providence, what do you need to do to establish your presence?
I think their plan's going to be to pack it in and just make UConn move the ball. And I think they're really going to try and put them on their heels with some strong counterattacks. Providence has some really strong, fast strikers across their front line. So I think they're just going to wait here to make a strong intercept and then just really take it to the Huskies' defense using their speed and their skill.
When we talk with both of the head coaches in our pre-tournament meetings, both coaches are pretty complimentary of each other, and especially that opening season game. The statistics were very even across the board. Were just 9 shots on target for UConn, 8 for Providence. You don't often see UConn goalies being worked a lot in pass, but Cheyenne Sprecher, one of the best in the business nowadays here in NCAA field hockey, she had to come up with a number of good saves, so it's not going to be an easy day for her back there.
It isn't, and Nancy Stevens talked a lot about how this UConn team is younger.
There's a chance now brewing for UConn. Shot kicked away. That was taken by Maddie Ray to the near side.
I think in the beginning they have, I think they started 7 sophomore or freshmen, so it's a younger squad, and so it's going to fall to a veteran like Sprecher to really set up her defense and do her job in the backfield. So she's gotten a lot of shots and turned a lot away for them, but it's definitely more action than she's seen in the past.
Referee making an overrule there, saying that there was a foul against UConn. Interesting enough there, allowed possession to carry. But this will allow Providence to slow the game down, allow their team to get forward. Now, you mentioned the fact that Providence may look into send a couple extra players behind the ball, hit on the counter. When they have these opportunities, they put it away, of course, out into touch. But when they have these chances to go forward, they have to be crisp and they have to be efficient.
They do. I mean, it's 3 for 3 in the back, so if the striker line does come up with an intercept and goes against this UConn defense, it's going to be even matchup. The UConn defense only has 3 in the backfield, so it's going to be definitely a race to get over the 25 and into the attacking circle.
Foul against the Friars. This will allow Gooderham to send it forward. Sophomore from Norwich, England, and East Anglia. 12 goals a season ago, 8 this year, but also working well as a facilitator, 9 assists in each of her first 2 campaigns. But a giveaway there allows Providence to look for a chance to carry forward, but immediately Sophie Hamilton, this is another player that Nancy Stevens told us about to keep an eye on. Former English Youth International, played at the Under-21 European Championships, and a player that, if it might not be Boker from the start, she could be the one that gets the secondary scoring. Bit of a dangerous pass there as Kenny nearly got dispossessed by Boker, the senior from Bremen, Germany. But the Friars able to break through their ranks. That's Mary O'Reilly looking to send it forward, but intercepted by Antonia Tiedke. Another German, the senior from Frankfurt. And this will come back out to the 25.
Yeah, Coach Maddle told us that Mary O'Reilly is definitely a player to watch in this game, too, that she's just a really good catalyst for much of their attack in the midfield. She likes to distribute the ball and really opens up the space for their team. So she'll be somebody to watch this game too. And she's already really proven her worth by starting this attack through the intercept in the midfield.
Ball sent across. Providence looking for their first foray on goal, but this will be called back for a foul against Providence, and now UConn looking to hit quickly on the counter. And when we talk about a team that likes to sit in defensively, if you're a UConn to take opportunities of chances players going forward, you have to go for it. As they look to press quick to the far side, another foul against Providence in transition.
Yeah, the umpire's just picking on a couple of these reverse stick tackles or catching the backside of the stick. So for everyone watching, in the sport of field hockey, you can only play with the flat side of your stick. So when you use your reverse and catch the ball on the rounded side, it's going to be a foul going against you. And if it's ever intentional going into the circle, it can be upgraded to an attacking penalty corner or even something more harsh like a penalty stroke. So these were all pretty unintentional and out in the field of play. So just a turnover, but it's going to be something that they're just going to want to tighten up as the game goes on.
Boker nearly got herself on the way through, was asking for a penalty corner, but the referees waved that away. Into the 6th minute here, still looking for the game's first clear-cut chance on goal. However, UConn showing their great team speed on a couple of occasions, trying to break forward. For Providence, I don't think they'll mind UConn possessing deep in the defensive third.
Providence showing a lot of discipline in this fall-away press. You can tell that our right striker out on the far side there is really working hard to knock off the ball. She wants to, but it's clear that the Providence plan here is to fall away and just really force some turnovers in their midfield, and they're doing a good job of sticking to the game plan.
Now, if UConn want to break through this fall-away press, obviously that quick transition is one way, but what's the other key factor that they need to do to break down this, what seems to be pretty tight defense from the Friars?
Yeah, fall-away press is always a really hard thing to face, but I think that the UConn defenders have a lot of tools in their toolkit, as we like to say. So they have some aerial passes they could implement, but this inside-outside pass is what's going to serve them well for the rest of the game.
Jessica Dembrowski into the area. This one ripped across, and it goes out. UConn will possess back at the top. Maddie Ray, a couple of chances here. A sophomore from England with 6 goals, 6 assists. She has come close on a couple of occasions thus far. Hamilton back into the area, just goes wide, stretching there to the back post. But once again, UConn trying to make this field a bit wide here. Helps, of course, when you have such great team speed. I don't think they like to prefer either way, and they'll attack down both, but it seems early on they're very likely to come down this right channel. Maybe perhaps attacking against Allison Parker, one of the many senior and grad students that this Providence team has. And talking with Coach Diane Maddle, now in her 18th season of this program, very heavy-handed with the upperclassmen. Says not so much relying on their experience, but they earn that experience, and the coaching staff trusts them. That's what you need at this time of the year.
Yeah, I think Diane is really feeling like this group is seasoned and really ready to take this Friar group to the next level. They rely on these veterans for sure, but they've earned it. They've worked really hard for this team, and I think they've really shown through the course of this season what they can do. So they're excited for this game for sure.
Providence last year, a 3rd place finish, lost to Liberty in the semifinals as the Lady Flames hosted the tournament a year ago. They went on to fall to UConn in the championship game. They will take on their local rival, Old Dominion, coming up in our 2nd semifinal.
Umpire doesn't like that Mary Riley was taking that ball so quickly. She thought it was hers, so I think it was a little unintentional. But up to that point, I really like the way she distributes the ball. She has great vision. She knows where she wants to go. So in the midfield, she's doing a really great job. She's going to be important for Providence today.
Corner called here as UConn generates this first opportunity of this match. They've scored on 19 of their 147 corners this season.
So they're asking this umpire, what exactly he saw there. And based on his hand signals, it looks like he was calling a stick obstruction. So in field hockey, you can't do anything to keep the player who has possession of the ball from actually playing it. So if you come over top with your stick or just keep her from being able to stay on the ball and do what she wants, it's going to be a call against you. And that looks like what he saw in that play there.
Antonia Tiedka, the one to insert 49 career assists, 16 already this season. UConn, one of the best in the nation from these restarts. The first test of the morning for Lydia Rice. This one driven in but blocked away. Good charge from the fly. Still sent on, but the shot just goes wide. It's those second chances you often Kirsten C. The first one highlights the one that just driven in, but the second phases, if you don't clear the corner, that's what often gets you. Nearly snuck in.
Once you get you stop the initial one, it's almost this feeling of relief, but you can't let up when you're basically 9v4 or 5 in the circle. So those are the ones that can sneak in. But they did a great job defending it, and yeah, UConn just missed wide, but they are lethal on the attack penalty corner, so I know Providence really wants to limit those opportunities for the rest of this game.
It was Sophie Hamilton, the one on the second phase there, looking for goal number 9 of her first campaign with UConn.
Yeah, and it looks like that first attacking penalty corner, I mean, people have all kinds of options in their back pockets, but that looked like it was almost a direct shot, so I think UConn was just trying to see what kind of defense that Providence was going to start with for this game today. So there are a couple different formations that you can do, and it really, depending on what kind of formation that they run is going to define sort of what you do for the rest of the game. It looked like they were just running a standard 1-3. And we'll see now in this second penalty corner what UConn decides to do with that information.
You already mentioned how lethal this group can be on these restarts, and Nancy Stevens said in their practices, in their training sessions, they're looking mighty fine from penalty corners. And if that first one was any indication of what they have to offer, it could be a very busy day for Lydia Rice and her back line if they don't clear these away cleanly. Once again, it will be Tidka to insert. We saw Hamilton on the second phase with the last. She looks to be the primary stopper at the top. Also Boker there as well. They go through Boker. One just goes wide, looking for a deflection, but no one was camped on the near post. And I don't think Providence will mind that. It was a dangerous corner, but it wasn't threatening.
It wasn't, and UConn has a lot of options in their circle, so there are a lot of different kinds of shots you can do off a corner. You have your hit, a sweep, but the one that's really been lethal over the last few years in the sport of field hockey is the drag flick. And Claire Yondeworth, we watched her in practice yesterday, and she's got quite the drag flick at her disposal, so I'll be interested to see if the Huskies decide to utilize that later today.
Izzy Mendez into the area, going to the end line. She'll get the restart. Senior from Cedar Grove, New Jersey. 21 goals in her career, 9 on this season. Good enough for second team All-League. Another foul against the Huskies as Mary O'Reilly has to bring it back to the right spot. Seems the referee group today, they're going to make sure that everything's taken as it's supposed to. Nothing quick.
And you'll see them really be pretty stingy around the 25. The important difference is if the ball is placed inside the 25 on a free hit, the attacking team needs to make sure they move the ball 5 yards before they can enter the circle. So the ball has to either be dribbled or passed 5 yards, or can hit off a defender's stick before it can go out in the circle. And if it is outside the 25, then they can hit it directly in. So that's going to be a really important difference that any umpire at this level is going to be really stingy about.
It's a nice run from Tidka here to the near side. She draws the foul. Tidka coming in fine form into the postseason. Points in 5 of the last 6 games, including 12 of the team's 19 games. She has tallied at least 1 assist, so certainly the key facilitator for this UConn group. That ball takes a deflection, finds Maddie Ray here to the near side. Ray looking to send that across. It'll come back out to the top of the 25.
And if you watch off ball, UConn is really holding outside of the circle and trying to draw those Providence defenders out and then just really rushing in as the ball's entering the circle. So it's an interesting tactic I haven't seen before from the Huskies, and we'll see how the Providence defense deals with it. So far, I feel like they've been in really great intercepting lines and have stepped up really well.
Chance now for Mendez on the counter, backhanded effort, but look out, that ball going behind everybody. But that's the sign that Providence has when they go forward. It's going to be the player wearing the number 4 jersey, Izzy Mendez. If she gets active, watch out. Not a bad effort, albeit just a little bit of a warning shot there.
And Providence has done a good job every time that they've turned the ball over. I think they've really they've gotten some circle penetrations, which is just a really good stat for them. That just means that they're going to keep putting pressure on this Huskies defense. And so they're already following the game plan that Coach Mattel laid out for us yesterday. They're being patient on the defense and then really working on that counterattack and getting a lot out of it.
Well, shots right now standing 4-1 in favor of the Huskies at the moment. That first effort was from Mendez, albeit off the mark, but again shows the good ability that Providence has on the counter. That ball given away nearly in the midfield. O'Reilly there to circle it back. It was Gooderham, the one trying to intercept, but this is taken away. Now UConn do have numbers here. Ray has an option to the far side, but a needed touch by Kenny, and that's again what Diane Maddle talked about. She is the rock in the back. If she has a good game, then that really fuels the rest of the team.
I mean, she just does such a great job of getting her stick in the passing lane, being patient. She's got a great reach, and all of those things have served her really well so far this game. Really impressed with her defensive efforts so far.
Under 2 minutes to go, and that's a giveaway from Kenny. Of course, Curse is the commentator right there. He talked well enough about a person, then a mistake comes, and a chance here for UConn on the counters. Hamilton has gotten herself in line, trying to draw a corner, and she does. Third of the match here, third of the quarter for UConn.
So it'll be really interesting to see what UConn does this time. I think it might be, they've sort of set this up, could be a potential for a drag flick shot from the top and really test the Providence goalkeeper. We'll see what they do, but they have two just, lethal corner strikers at the top of the circle. They have a lot of options. So far it's been pretty simple. So we'll see if they bring out anything a little bit more creative to test this Friar defense.
You talked about Clara Jandevert, the freshman from Mannheim, Germany. 7 goals this season. She is in on this action here, standing over where Bunker is. Or excuse me, Hamilton. Jandevert drives it in, takes a deflection, goes wide. It will come back out to the top of the 25. Have to give credit here to Providence. They've been hit with a bit of an offensive onslaught, but they have not budged just yet. I think for them, too, getting through this first quarter, feeling a little confident about yourself defensively. We talked about, again, the regular season meeting. Says 3-0 in the box score, but it really doesn't tell the full tale. A couple of late goals at right times from UConn was the difference, but I think Providence should be pretty happy where they are at the moment.
Yeah, when we talked to Coach Stevens the other day, she had a lot of respect for the Providence team, and was, the stats were not lost on her. She knows that this was a really close contest the last time that these two met, and that UConn really has to take this game seriously, and they're going to get a fight from the Providence team.
A quarter, though, albeit one does not yield any goals just yet. 5 shots, a number of dangerous chances. Only a handful of seconds left to go here in this first stanza. UConn will apply just a little bit of late pressure as Teed could aloft that forward. Good active stick by Parker, just playing into safety.
I just want to remember that when the ball goes up, if it's going clearly to a certain player, that player needs a 5-yard radius. They should be able to settle the ball with no pressure from anyone else, and that's just a rule for safety. But I'm sure that will come into play more the rest of this game.
Scoreless through 15 minutes of play. Back in a moment here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
Divine Providence. It's a reason why Providence is making that trajectory toward greatness.
If we get you on this campus and you just walk around for an hour or so, you're going to feel something that's qualitatively different.
Providence College is a place that has helped people think, thrive, and achieve. Divine Providence is right here. Open your eyes.
Though we are many, we are part of something. A force bigger than all of us. Our distinct fingerprints collectively shaping and forever changing what makes UConn, UConn. Forever making our mark. Forever making UConn a part of us. It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loan.
15 minutes in the book thus far. Scoreless between Providence and UConn. A Providence team coming in knowing that they have to stand tall against this very active UConn offense, but they've done the job thus far, and Megan Caffrey is hearing some good things down on the PC sideline.
Thanks, JJ. Well, you and Kirsten were talking about this seasoned group that the Providence Friars are, and in speaking with head coach Diane Maddle, she was talking about how her team is really in such a great place. They actually went out and went bowling last night, as a team, and that's just to show that they're ready to take on this UConn team. They wanted to keep it fun and keep it a relaxed feeling coming into today.
It's funny that she says that, of course, and thank you, Megan, for that, because when you talk with all the coaches, they really keep this tournament in perspective. More on that in a moment. Here's a chance now on the counter quickly for Maddie Ray to the far side, looking to try and draw a corner. Did that ball go across the end line? It did not.
Looks like he saw a foul just outside the circle before it went over the end line, so they're going to take it right outside the circle. They went 5 yards, so they've got that. Now they're looking for a corner.
This is Boker trying to play it in. Still on here. Providence need to clear this chance away. That drive just whistles wide. It was Hamilton. No messing about there, trying to rip it inside the far post, and it goes wide. But back to what Megan was saying earlier, talking with all these coaches, they certainly keep this weekend in perspective. And let's be candid, there's a lot riding on the line for a number of these teams. UConn a chance to possibly host the first weekend of the NCAA tournament, maybe perhaps for Liberty or Old Dominion if they get to the finals, perhaps an at-large bid to the tournament. But they're keeping this weekend pretty loose.
Yeah, there's always a lot of pressure in games like this, and the players know it and the coaches know it, and I don't think pressure ever really they've learned to deal with it, and these are elite athletes that understand those kind of the mental toll that things like this take. So I think everybody wants to just keep it light, have fun, and that's the way you're going to just perform at your best and sort of take the pressure off. They all know it's there. They're well aware of the stakes that this tournament brings, but they just want to have fun, enjoy the experience. I think every single coach has mentioned that.
And, of course, also with Providence and UConn being the two closest teams here to Hampton, Connecticut, you can have a chance to get some of your local fans as well.
That's right. I mean, they have a great presence out in the stands, and the fans are completely into this game. Their just eyes are peeled, and they're ready to have some fun hockey, and it looks like it's going to start picking up here in the attacking circle for Providence.
Oh, it's a giveaway and a chance for Mary O'Reilly trying to tee this one up. She does, and it's in! Izzy Mendez getting Providence the lead.
It looks like it's been waved off by the umpires, so I didn't quite catch that, but they were definitely in some great scoring positions. Providence was set up really well to see that past Cheyenne Sprecher.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at that in a moment. I wonder perhaps if it hit Mendez's foot on the way through. That ball did not rock into the back of the cage. And immediately back on the attack, here comes UConn. Svea Boker into the area, and it's just cleared away to safety.
I think this has always been a strength of UConn. Just historically, they like to take advantage of this change in momentum.
Take a look at this here. I wonder, again, does this hit Mendez's foot on the way through? Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. So that was a great eye by Renee Zelkin. She is a veteran umpire, and she has been in tournaments like this many times before. So she is just on top of it. So it's a great call from her.
See, unlike the sport that's played on ice that has hockey involved, there'd be no kicking motion. That'd be a good goal, but you can't do that in this sport. So
you cannot.
Good work by our crew to pick that one up. Is by just real time, it looked like it wasn't the cleanest of connections. I think UConn will be very happy not to be trailing from behind, because I don't think the last thing they'd expect, and this is no knock to Providence, I don't think they expected to play from behind in this match.
No, and I think that would be something, Providence could really take advantage of, but clearly Coach Maddle said something real motivating to this team in the quarter break, because they've really come out and have retained possession for so far most of the 4 minutes that have gone by in this quarter.
Now, it's curious because, of course, this is the first season with the new timing rules, as the NCAA field hockey circuit is now emulating the international game where you have the 4 15-minute quarters, but there are no timeouts. Those 2 minutes in between the first and the second and the third and the fourth quarter are so instrumental, because you don't have another chance to chat with your team. So you're right. Diane Maddle had to speak well to her team, and it's clear that they're coming out firing a corner to come here.
Yeah, I talked to Di about this the other day, and I think there was a lot of conversation about this at our National Field Hockey Coaches Convention last year about whether we go to this format or not. But a year into it, she was saying that she likes it. It's the breaks are really good to just kind of recap with your team. I think it's good for the kids to get a break, but always in those games when you're in the last quarter and you're wanting a moment to just settle them or maybe, get them motivated. You don't have that timeout at your disposal anymore, but the onus is really going back onto the players, and that's something she liked about it.
First corner of the match coming for the Friars. Amanda Collins, the one to insert. Mendez was perched at the top. Parker trying to round the edge, a little bit too much of a heavy touch, and UConn very happily to play it to the far side. And when you have those set pieces, you have to take advantage of it. Diane Mattel did talk about she wasn't overly pleased by the execution. It's immediately on the counter, but the pass just too strong for Ray, and it's kicked wide by Rice. But Coach Mattel did say that, her team has not produced enough on those restarts. Only 5 goals off penalty corners this season. That's not getting the job done.
Yeah, it looked like it just broke down a little bit. I'm not sure they were totally on the same page. But we're gonna see a penalty quarter here for UConn. But in that counterattack play, as that broke down, I mean, that's what makes Lydia Rice such a great goalkeeper. So I think she really likes to generally stay home. But when you look at what's in front of you and you see basically a 2v1 and a ball at the top of your circle, you have to come out and clear it. She made the right decision there.
And you have to be decisive as well. If you hesitate for a moment, good luck, because Ray's probably going to bring this down. Another corner to come for the Huskies. This is their 4th of the match. They've tried a couple of different options. We've yet to see, though, the drag flick from Claire Yondevert. We're in the number 18 jersey. This is Yondevert with the flick. It's blockered away. That's a confidence-building save right there by Lydia Rice. To be fair, it was good saving height, but she had to do the job.
I mean, that was an excellent drag flick. And it's, you look at somebody like Lydia Rice, and she's a little shorter, but she makes up for it. I mean, she is so explosive, and she covers so much of the cage, and it's serving her so well. But that was an excellent drag flick, and I'll be interested to see if they get another attacking penalty corner opportunity, then maybe they use the drag flick, but they keep it low and really try and extend the cage.
Yeah, I think that might be better, especially when you have so many bodies right on top of the keeper. Take away the eyes, perhaps, and that's where I said good saving height, because there wasn't too much in front of her. Able to watch it all the way through. Foul against the Huskies, and Providence, after getting their first grade A chance of the day, albeit they did have a goal waved off. Remember, just a couple of minutes ago, Mendez saw that she gave Providence the lead, but it came off of her foot and into the back of the cage. So we're still scoreless, but I think Providence, the better of the two teams here in the second quarter thus far.
So far, I mean, that was a really risky split pass that worked well for them. So they're really taking a lot of risks in this outlet, and it's paying off so far. So we'll see if UConn can kind of tighten up this press and really get in some better intercepting lines and turn Providence over a little bit more as the quarter goes on.
Corinne Kenny nearly going into a triple team there, able to draw the foul. And you talk about, just some of the extra little wrinkles that are thrown on. This is a single elimination game. At the end of the day, if you're going to go down fighting. And if you throw something that maybe perhaps the opposition wasn't expecting, well, that's all the better.
That was a really good example of, what a stick obstruction looks like in field hockey. So, number 3, she had the ball. She's looking to play it up the field, and UConn was just doing a good job of holding her stick back so she couldn't do it. And here we go. Lydia Rice coming out again. She's just making such great decisions, and I think playing a little bit outside of her comfort zone. She doesn't like to be that far outside of the cage, but she's making the right decisions in the right moments.
Because it's interesting, Nancy Stevens told us, any goalie that stays home, that's what they practice day in, day out against Cheyenne Sprecher, but the goalies that come out because of their speed, they're able to beat them better. But Rice, veteran goalie, knows when to come out, clear it to safety, just no nonsense clearance as well, just put it straight out into touch.
Yeah, so that's going to be most likely a card, to one of our Providence players, Amanda Collins. So, one of the really important rules in field hockey is you cannot knock the ball away when it's not your free hit. It's essentially, you can call it maybe a delay of game, but it's just not a behavior that the umpire is going to allow to continue during the game. So that was the right call. I think she knew as soon as she knocked it off of her stick that was what was going to happen. So it's unfortunate, but they have to keep it tight. So they did a good job on that one.
So Providence will be down a player for the next, we'll call roughly minute 40 seconds or so. They do get the start out of their own end as UConn took it across.
Yeah, in field hockey, all of the cards, they mean different things. They have different times. So a 2-minute green card's 2 minutes. A yellow card is a little bit more severe, and that's at the umpire's discretion. They can do anything between 5 and 10 minutes. And then obviously we never want to see a red card.
I don't think I ever remember calling a game and seeing a red card. I'm sure you can tell a few stories, but at least in the last couple of years.
I will say I have never personally been a part of a red card situation, but I've heard of it. But if that ever happens, that player, the team plays down for the rest of the game. That player has to exit the
you're going to the locker
area.
room.
You got to go to the locker room, and you're out for the next game. So there have been a few instances in the past where there's been a red card in a team's final game of the season, and then they cannot play in the next game of the next season. So, you never want to see that. It's happened very rarely in the sport of field hockey, but, cards, yellow and green cards are just, they're really just part of the game now. They're not as severe as they used to be. It's just something that kind of comes with as the game goes on, how it plays out. There's always going to be a few cards in every game.
One thing I will say with Providence down a player, they've done a really good job limiting UConn going forward. They'll be fine conceding possession in their attacking third, that being UConn's defensive half.
Yeah, and you can tell that Providence is, a disciplined, seasoned veteran team, because when you go down a player, you really want to change your structure. So you'll see that they only have maybe 1 or 2 strikers ahead, so they're going to drop people back into the more essential positions of like midfield and defense. And they've already done that really without any direction from their coaching staff. So they've just, changed their structure, and now she's back on. So you'll see number 7 come back up into the striker line. Everybody else is back where they're meant to be, but the transition when a player down was, really well executed, very professional.
Yeah, just took care of business. That's all you have to do. At the end
right.
of the day, 2 minutes come off the clock, but immediately UConn back on the attack with Boker looking for a foul, but the referee says enough with that. We play on. Lovely bit of skill work there from Mary O'Reilly. Understand now why Diane Maddle speaking so very highly of the senior from Longmeadow, Massachusetts. Just one of those explosive players, perhaps might even be the best technical player that she has to offer on the roster. Good interception, though, by Collins. And a foul gets called against Hamilton. Under 5 minutes left to go here in this second quarter. We have had 1 goal wiped off the board. That was Providence with 11 minutes to go. Mendez, a ball sent across, hit off of her foot and went all the way in. But you can say here in the second quarter, outside of maybe 1 decent foray into the attack, can't really remember too much for UConn. And I think also the Yondevert drag flick off of a corner, that might actually be it.
And, if you look at the stats, I think a lot of, Lydia Rice hasn't had to make that many saves. A lot of the shots from UConn are going a little bit wide. So I know, the UConn staff was giving a lot of respect to Lydia, and they really wanted to test her in this game when they had the opportunities in the circle. And they haven't really yet. She hasn't had to do too much work outside of coming out and clearing these kind of loose balls or making that save on that drag flick. But they really are going to want to test her as this game goes on.
It's funny how Nancy Stevens referred to Lydia Rice as one of those goalies that you see in the English Premier League for soccer week in, week out, saying, good goalies usually about 32, 33 years old. I think a few can probably make an argument for that. Ederson and, of course, Kepa Arrizabalaga of Chelsea, but that's neither here nor there. But, yeah, Rice coming in 5th year, has played, basically started each of the last 2+ seasons, so she knows what she needs to do.
It's really important in the game of field hockey, and the umpires are going to ask for a lot. You have to stop the ball because of that rule that everybody's got to be 5 yards away. The umpires need to know where exactly the free hit's being taken. So they're going to be really exact about where they want the ball. They want it stopped. And it's within playing distance, so as long as the players are making the motion to stop the ball and establish where the free hit's going to be taken, they'll allow it. But they're not going to be allowing this rolling ball into a free hit that's going to just add a little confusion into the game.
And I think also more, it's of course a cliche saying that the referees are consistent, but they're staying to the letter of the law. They're not deviating it. So that's on the players now to adjust and adapt.
Yeah, and it's nothing these players aren't going to be familiar with. This is a great reverse press coming from UConn, putting a lot of pressure on Corinne Kenny, and she deals with it well.
Yeah, it wasn't a great ball by Parker to put that in that situation, but now UConn with possession here. A little over 2 minutes left to go in the second quarter. That ball, the initial foul was outside the area, and you can even see our near side official pointing right to the exact spot saying this is where the foul occurred. Good move by Hamilton, and line centers it across. That ball's still loose on the goal line. Providence are going to get it away. That ball had an open net in front of it, and UConn just couldn't get the connection. I think that's going to be the one that will frustrate any coach the most.
I mean, from this angle, I don't know how they stopped it. It looked like the ball was just sitting there waiting for somebody to do something, but they played it out, and even Lydia Rice, she was scrambling get back into the goal. Not sure what happened there.
I think the ball also looked like it knocked off of someone's foot on the way through, but the referee just said open arms, play on. Minute 25 left to go. You could say this for UConn, they'll certainly be ruining their chances going into the halftime team talk, because while there haven't been many, you don't get many in single elimination format, but they've had them.
Yeah, and I don't know how many times UConn has gone into a halftime tied. You know, I don't know how many times they've really been down in games.
Tied, let alone scoreless.
Right. So it'll be really interesting to see how these two teams adjust in the next half. You know, Providence is just going to have to stick to this game plan and adjust to whatever changes UConn makes. But, you know, what they're doing is working.
Of course, so UConn, in addition to their league schedule, they face a very tough schedule season in, season out. 12 ranked teams that they have faced, and that does include when they took on Liberty earlier on this campaign. The referee's going to stop play here.
Yeah, and you know, she's just looking for that 5 yards. So, you know, Providence encroached in on that 5 yards. And if it's coming down to crowd, they're always going to give it to the defender. So that's what she whistled. It, you know, after the play, it hit one of the UConn defenders. So it was a bit unfortunate, and it adds some confusion. Clearly, the fans are not happy.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to.
Nobody's happy.
They've already stopped the clock. They're going to be adding a few seconds onto this as well.
Yeah, but I think they made the right call there. And the aerials are always a little bit of a tough thing for the fans to understand, but I think the umpires are on top of it.
So 35 seconds now is going to be the exact amount of time. Think about a good 11 or 12 seconds came off of it. So maybe one last chance for UConn going forward. This is Maddie Ray, probably one of the more active players for UConn this first half. That ball gets all the way through, but heavy off the stick of Dombrowski and goes behind. Looked like Providence nearly turned off there for a moment defensively. It almost got bit.
Yeah, I think they were really expecting the ball back because I think the UConn player might have gotten a little close on that aerial, but umpires let it play. Guess it wasn't dangerous enough, but they've got the ball back, and they're going to try and just keep possession as the time runs down.
30 minutes in the book. This is the 1-4 semifinal matchup, and we're scoreless here in Hamden. Much more to come. Stay tuned here on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
Divine Providence. It's a reason why Providence is making that trajectory toward greatness.
If we get you on this campus and you just walk around for an hour or so, you're going to feel something that's qualitatively different.
Providence College is a place that has helped people think, thrive, and achieve. Divine Providence is right here.
When my time came to stop coaching, I was very fortunate that I didn't have to go cold turkey. I was able to start the Big East Conference, and we came across the sky like a meteor.
One recruiting year that they had that really turned everything around was the Ewan Mullen Pinckney recruiting year. It changed the face of Eastern basketball probably forever.
We just believed in ourselves and a lot of hard work on everybody's part.
Every March, Madison Square Garden is home to everything that is college basketball.
Put on your red shoes and dance the blues.
What? How's the weather? Yeah. It's snowing out. It's a blizzard, but we ain't gonna stop.
Rightly, there were questions early on about whether the Big East could withstand the test of reconfiguration, and I think if you were here, we've done that and more.
It's a monster league now. Last man standing, bring the flag. Tough to coach in, but great for spectators and great to play in. The march of the Big East goes on.
One of the positives about the sports business in the last couple of years, and in recent years in particular, has been the growing interest in seeing our industry become a more diverse and inclusive place.
I find it important for us to amplify the voices of those who have not traditionally had a seat at the table. As a Black African woman, my various social identities are always at the forefront of my daily interactions, from my first name, my culture, to where I'm from. So for me, diversity is about us celebrating our uniqueness as a society.
A lot of what happens in terms of diversifying workforce in the college world happens at the campus level. That's really where the core hiring takes place. The schools are responsible for hiring their directors of athletics, their staffs, their coaches. And so the conference is really a step away from that activity, but I think conferences can and should set a tone. And so in the Big East, we have tried to make diversity and inclusion a conference strategic priority. We have, for example, within our conference SAC group, designated a diversity and inclusion officer. D&I has become an important topic of discussion at SAC meetings. And our D&I officer is now included into the conference-wide diversity and inclusion working group that we've created.
I currently serve as the conference's Student Athlete Advisory Committee's Diversity and Inclusion Officer. This position is charged with ensuring that the conference carries out its commitment to inclusion for all. And I assist the conference staff in creating opportunities for student athletes from different backgrounds to come together to share and exchange ideas. I also work closely with the Big East Diversity and Inclusion Working Group.
You know, when I think about diversity, I think about the fact that diversity is a fact. When we think about inclusion, we think about inclusion being a choice. And I think if we can succeed in anything at the Big East is to impress upon everyone how inclusion isn't just a choice but a responsibility.
The Big East is committed to continuing the development of programs and initiatives that support diverse and inclusive environments for our student athletes, coaches, staff, and communities.
Though we are many, we are part of something. A force bigger than all of us. Our distinct fingerprints collectively shaping an
and forever changing. What makes UConn, UConn. Forever making our mark. Forever making UConn a part of us.
Halftime here in Hamden, Connecticut. Scoreless between Providence and UConn. This is the 4-1 matchup here in the first of two semifinals of the 2019 Big East Field Hockey Championships. JJ Duke, Kirsten Gebhardt here with you. And as we take a look back at your first half highlights, Kirsten, you and I talking off air, this has been an impressive performance from Providence. They haven't given UConn much to work with.
Yeah, they've been really disciplined in their fall-away press. It's frustrating UConn. They've come up big in defense. Corinne Kenny, she's doing a great job in the center back. And Lydia Rice really hasn't had to make that many saves. She's only really, I think, had one save in the first half, and UConn hasn't really been able to get a shot on frame. And we were talking about, when UConn does come up with the ball, they're doing a great job of having an attack, but they don't really have a lot of numbers. So the Providence defense is being really disciplined in the number of people they have back and great with their structure. So as UConn comes with the ball, it's always a 3-4 advantage to Providence. So I think in the halftime, UConn is probably going to work on really stretching their structure, getting some more people high so that they can have some more opportunities on the attack.
You saw the highlights from the first half, and again, just a couple of half chances for UConn, mostly coming off corners. Providence, remember, did have a goal wiped off the board due to ball hitting the foot of Izzy Mendez. If you're Providence right now, you're pleased with the first 30 minutes, but they're not just being here to be pleased. They want to get a result. Same thing goes for UConn. Much more on the way. You're watching the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
When my time came to stop coaching, I was very fortunate that I didn't have to go cold turkey. I was able to start the Big East Conference, and we came across the sky like a meteor.
One recruiting year that they had that really turned everything around was the Ewan Mullen Pinckney recruiting year. It changed the face of Eastern basketball probably forever.
We just believed in ourselves, and a lot of hard work on everybody's part.
Every March, Madison Square Garden is home to everything that is college basketball.
Put on your red shoes and dance the blues.
What? How's the weather? Yeah. It's snowing out. It's a blizzard, but we ain't gonna stop.
Rightly, there were questions early on about whether the Big East could withstand the test of reconfiguration, and I think if you were here, we've done that and more.
It's a monster league now. Last man standing, bring the flag. Tough to coach in, but great for spectators and great to play in. The march of the Big East goes on.
Moments away from the start of the third quarter here between Providence and UConn, the 2019 Big East Field Hockey Championships presented by Jeep. We are in championship season here in the Big East, and we'd like to take a moment to first let you know about the 2019 Big East Volleyball Championships that will be taking place on the campus of Marquette. It'll be at the Al McGuire Center on November the 29th and 30th. Make sure to get your tickets today by visiting www.bigeast.com/VB tickets or calling the Marquette University ticket office at 414-288-4668. And also recently we just had the cross country championships recently. I'd like to give a big congratulations to Butler on the women's side, and also on the men's side, Villanova taking home the crown as well. So congratulations to Butler and Villanova for winning the Big East Cross Country Championships. When we come back, the third quarter next on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
Though we are many, we are part of something. A force bigger than all of us. Our distinct fingerprints collectively shaping and forever changing what makes UConn, UConn. Forever making our mark. Forever making UConn a part of us.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
Divine Providence. It's a reason why Providence is making that trajectory toward greatness.
If we get you on this campus and you just walk around for
Moments away from starting the third quarter here between UConn and Providence. We send it down to the field. Megan Caffrey has an update from the coaches.
Thanks, JJ. UConn head coach Nancy Stevens telling me she was really pleased with all of the opportunities her offense was creating in that first half. She did say, however, she wants her team to get back to the fundamentals in this second half to finish them off. As for Providence, head coach Diane Maddle was telling me she loved how her defense was handling
half from these two teams, and I think as the time winds down, we're going to see things, the pace pick up. We're going to see maybe get a little bit scrappier, and I'm sure the umpires are going to be prepared for that and just keep things tight on their end. But there's a big, important turnover for UConn.
Giveaway by Kenny, a chance now for Svea Boker to get forward, but a heavy touch, intercepted, and it'll be possession back over to the Friars. And, well, when we get later and later into the match, I can understand where Coach Stevens also talks about the fundamentals and the basics being no mistakes, and that goes on both sides. If you are unsure about your surroundings, play it to safety. You could regroup. There's nothing wrong in that. But giveaways in transition, you have to avoid those. Mary O'Reilly had a number of good moments in the first half, trying to weave her way around 3 defenders, and she does so. Again, an outstanding stick handler with the ball, and she'll start the attack here. The pass just too strong for Sydney Kramer.
It's clear that UConn's really, scouted Providence well, and they know that Mary O'Reilly is an important piece of their attack. So, every time she's getting the ball, there's a lot of group tackling. There's 3 players around her really putting a lot of pressure, and she's handled the pressure so well. She's just fighting through it, getting passes off. If you're going to be picky, you're just wanting her to really connect on those last passes and keep possession after she breaks through those tackles and just take advantage of that numbers up situation. But she's really held her own in this game and has been a really integral part of the Friars' attack.
Long ball comes here to the near side. Maddie Ray sends Marie Hauer looking across, and it'll be a corner to come. That ball rocketed right off the leg of a Providence defender. That was Kenny, the one that gets it. So we now saw in the first half, I want to say 3 different routines from UConn, most recently being the drag flick from Claire Yondever. You mentioned earlier, could she go just a bit lower to take away the eyes from the goalie? Wouldn't be a bad idea at this stage.
I mean, this is the field hockey fans' favorite game where we say, okay, well, what are they going to do? And my guess is that there's going to be a point where they try and go with a lower drag flick to keep Lydia Rice on her feet and maybe look for a deflection. So we'll see what they have here. They've got a lot at their disposal.
Second team all-conference member Antonia Tiedka to send this through. This one driven wide of the mark. Referee waiting now, points. Another corner to come. That was Gooderham with the effort, keeping it low. And again, with all the bodies right around the keeper, all you need is a little bit of a bad touch or just a deflection from one of your own teammates. Goalie's never going to know about it.
This is really the job of, there's 3 field players back there with the goalkeeper. One of them is going to go out. She's our flyer. She puts pressure on the shot. But the other 3, their job is just to, make sure there's no deflections. They're knocking sticks out of the way.
Gooderham once again blocked away. Second chance is put home. Tiedko with the goal, and UConn strike first.
I mean, they were right on top of that. Rebound off of the goalkeeper, played it super well out of the air. Wonderful job by the UConn Huskies to just crash the cage and pick up that deflection off the goalkeeper.
It's a big goal and perhaps takes a little bit of stress off the shoulders of UConn as Tiedko, just only her 4th goal of this season. This is a player that picks up the assist from the corner. She has 16 on the season, but when the time comes, the veterans have to step up. And UConn, as we mentioned, they're a young team. They only have 2 seniors that they start. There's one of them. This is going to be a big few minutes for Providence now. How do you respond after going behind? Because remember, they had a goal waved off shortly into the start of the second quarter. So they have to now start to not fight for their lives just yet. Still enough time, but you have to respond. If it isn't a goal, that's fine. Get pressure.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always 2 ways to respond to a goal. Do you let it take the wind out of your sails, or do you build some momentum and really kind of shove down the throat of your opponent? So we'll see how Providence responds. But so far, they've been putting on good pressure, staying disciplined in this fall away press. Looks like they're going to put a little bit more pressure on the backfielders when they bobble the ball, which is just good hockey. And stepping up really well. Structure looks good. So we'll see how they do in the next few minutes here.
So that goal coming again in the 34th minute. Tiedko and the assist to Maddie Ray, the sophomore from England, her 7th of this season, nearly doubling the mark that she had a year ago. Heavy touch from Neve Going. Comes to the near side now, but this allows Providence to get a few of their players up just a bit higher. The corner came from a direct ball, really from the back out of Courtney Kennedy. That's the center back for UConn.
The Friars are putting more pressure on than they did in the first half. So the press changed a little bit where they're just stepping up a little bit more. And so far they've had a couple good turnovers, but they just need to stay strong on the ball, anticipate the way it's going to bounce so that they can keep possession and really reward themselves for these good intercepts.
Amanda Collins, the lone player to pick up a green card in the first half, gets us back underway. Good low stick from Ray, and outstanding work to bypass the defender. Chance now for Hamilton to carry forward, but intercepted. Chance now for O'Reilly. Perhaps a little bit of a counter here, but has 2 UConn players surrounding her. Looking for a call from our near side official, not going to get it. Tiedko looking for the connection with Boker. It goes all the way through, though. Diligent defending is Kenny because she knows that she has a couple of players around her, that one being Maddie Ray. And the foul goes.
In this press, UConn's really putting their offside attacker really high to just keep the ball, cut the field, keep the ball to the side. And I think Providence is starting to have a little bit of trouble with it because they move the ball so well in the first half around their backfield. But you can see this offside attacker just, really making sure that they cannot go to the other side of the field. And it's really helping just to cut the field for UConn, take advantage of their numbers defensively, and then they already have someone high for counterattack.
Good switch to the far side as Providence continue to make those inroads. Working down the left channel, they do generate the foul as Tiedko commits it. Providence have had 1 penalty corner in this match. They did not utilize it well. Maybe perhaps looking for another one here as Allison Parker will get it out wide. Another foul against Tiedko. Has to be careful, for consistent fouling out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a chance when the umpires take a look at these fouls outside the circle and decide whether it's time to upgrade to a corner.
Backhanded effort goes wide of the mark. Sydney Kramer was the one, and not a bad idea there, because we have yet to call out Cheyenne Sprecker's name thus far, and it's kind of ironic. Sprecher, the redshirt sophomore from Pennsylvania, one of the nation's leaders in a number of statistical categories, including save percentage of .845, but it's not like she just pitches out a camp blanket and just watches the team up in front. She does a lot of work, and on a day like today, she has yet to really see the ball.
You're absolutely right, and a lot of my goalkeeper friends would like to point out that the goalkeepers that don't see a lot of action in games like this, it means that they're doing a great job organizing their defense, setting them up in the right places so that they don't have to make a save. So she's not just sitting there. She is doing an excellent job organizing her defense, making sure they're stepping up when they need to, taking away any options, deflections, all kinds of things in the circle. So she's doing a great job. You might not be able to see it, but if you're here, you could hear it.
Well, maybe where we are because the wind is so heavy. Forget about it on a day like today, but you're right. And Nancy Stevens was very complimentary of how Sprecher, even coming in really as a young player, she's still growing. And it's a little scary to think what her ceiling could be if she's still growing and is one of the best in the nation. As this ball gets through, it is kicked away. So Sprecher with her first real action of this contest. Now that's going to be a delay of game. Surely the ref's going to go to the pocket here, and he does. Abby Gooderham playing that ball away, and for the first time now, Providence, they'll be going up a player.
Yeah, and I mean, this is just one of those situations where it happened against Providence, and when the exact same thing happens against UConn, you got to kind of dole out the same punishment. So, right call there. Can't knock the ball away. Just especially now, I think it's going to really come down to every last second that they have, so you're not going to want to waste any of it.
So Gooderham to the box, 2 minutes. She'll come back in at the 3:52 mark. But if you're Providence right here outside of the one penalty corner that you had, this is where you got to get the game back on your shoulders.
Yeah, they're doing a really great job inside the 25, working to get fouls. But, I mean, this UConn defense, they are just a wall on the circle. So, they're, Providence is inside the 25, but UConn is doing an excellent job just keeping Providence outside of the circle, limiting their shots.
Dangerous chance, nearly taken away, and Sprecher has to kick it wide. That was a hospital ball back to Courtney Kennedy. 2 players right on top of her, and Sprecher had to be aware.
Yeah, I mean, you have to appreciate just the eliteness of what she just did there. It didn't look like a lot, but she cleared it right to her defender stick. She knew exactly where she needed to go with the ball to just kind of limit any risk. She did an awesome job just keeping the play alive.
And Boker on the other side, sending it across. Still loose to the backhand, and it's put over the bar. An outstanding save by Lydia Rice. And remember, UConn down a player, but even if they're at 9, they're still good enough.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, here's the thing. There's so much respect between these two coaches for each other's goalkeepers, and here's why. She came out right in the right moment on the perfect angle to just deflect that ball up over the cage.
That's
Great job.
Brilliant save, actually. Sprawling, had to kind of just throw the stick out and hope it ended up catching her a little bit on the pad, so able to lift it apart. But that's the nation's one of the leaders in scoring. Still could be on, though, but it's just dragged wide. That was Ray getting forward. Look at UConn down a player still for another few seconds, generating 2 grade A chances.
I mean, you have to appreciate that in maybe 30 seconds we saw 3 great plays from some elite goalkeepers, and this was just, I think she got a little caught there, but excellent effort on the part of the Providence defenders.
Yeah, that's actually Corinne Kenny, the one that got her stick in there late. That maybe denied a goal. I wonder if they're going to give a defensive save on that one, because if she isn't there, Ray, didn't get the cleanest contact she'd like, but it still goes into the back of the cage.
And you have to be really careful in situations like that. If there was any sort of stick contact or anything that the umpire thought that she was really keeping the attacker from the ability to shoot, that would elevate to a stroke. So she did a great job of keeping her stick low, played the ball, and really just negated any chance for the UConn Huskies.
We're back to even strength, by the way, and I said for Providence they had to really take advantage of the chances. They had that one look with pressure, but UConn generated 2 outstanding opportunities.
And I think UConn's, they're up by 1, but they're still feeling the pressure. This game's getting a little bit more chippy. People are getting a little bit more desperate. So you're going to just sense you're going to get more pressure on defense. Things are going to get a little bit closer, a little bit tighter. And we're feeling the tension. We're feeling it from the fans. And you can see it from the players out there, too, working really hard to keep the ball.
Yeah, this is where all that early season conditioning comes in, right, where you spend all those hours running the extra sprints. These are the days, it's cliche, but where it all comes together. If you have the late wind, and if you're Providence, if you're going into the fourth quarter trailing by 1, game is still very much on, but you're going to have to rely on that conditioning to not give it away.
Absolutely. And, the game of field hockey has really changed. I think in the past we've done a lot of running all throughout the season, but with the implementation of heart rate monitors, strength and conditioning coaches just playing a much bigger role in the fitness of these athletes, this has, everybody plans to be in postseason. So this should be the time when all these athletes are peaking physically so that they can perform at the end of the season. When I think in the past we've all been really tired, and this is when they're at their best. So they can be prepared physically so that they can play technically very well and stay in the game mentally.
Under 2 minutes ago, and UConn once again almost put themselves into well too much pressure as Kennedy, she's been the recipient of, let's just say, some poor decision passing. And it's not to say that Yondevert hasn't given her the right pass, it's just not the right pace on it, allowing players to come up. In soccer, we actually call this counter-pressing, where you don't often have too many players up, but you're looking for those transition opportunities. And that's a couple times just in this quarter where UConn gives it away in their own 16.
Yeah, and I think it might be the, that fall-away press really starting to get to them, because sometimes when you have so much space, it's hard to make decisions. When you're actually having pressure, it's really easy in those moments to say, like, this is taken away and this is what's open. So when you have so many options, it can really put some pressure on you in your decision making.
Foul against Olivia Ward to the far side, under a minute to go. And UConn getting the goal just a few minutes after halftime by Antonia Tidka.
And here we go again. UConn is getting this great attacking opportunity, but you still have Providence with numbers up. So, they're going into this attacking chance with, I think it looks like 4v6. So they're just going to have to keep working to get more people into the circle so that they can get some circle pens, get some shots, maybe get some more penalty corners.
20 seconds left to go here. UConn, say, taking their time just a little bit, making sure that there's no last chance opportunity for Providence to hit on a counter. Of course, even then, we'll bring it up a bit in the fourth quarter, but this young group, they haven't had too many chances with their backs against the wall, even in front. But it's going to be a tough 15 minutes left to go. But UConn are on the board here. A goal in the 34th minute from Antonia Tidka. Late little deflection. Had to be in the right place, right time, but she gets the Huskies out in front.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
Divine Providence. It's a reason why Providence is making that trajectory toward greatness.
If we get you on this campus and you just walk around for an hour or so, you're going to feel something that's qualitatively different.
Providence College is a place that has helped people think, thrive, and achieve. Divine Providence is right here. Open your eyes.
Though we are many, we are part of something. A force bigger than all of us. Our distinct fingerprints collectively shaping and forever changing what makes UConn, UConn. Forever making our mark. Forever making UConn a part of us.
A very active third quarter here as we're moments away from starting the final 15 minutes. This is the business end of this contest as UConn lead 1-0 by the way of a 34th minute goal from Antonia Tidka. If you are Providence right now, we'll start with Providence, Kirsten. they've played a very good 45 minutes. They just had the one break that didn't go their way in the first half. A goal wiped off from Izzy Mendez now gets hurt because they give up a goal in the third quarter, but they still have a lot to play left for.
Yeah, I mean, defensively they've been excellent, but you know, you got to score if you want to win this game. And so I think the pressure is on for them to get into the circle, get some circle penetrations, and get some scoring chances. So they're going to have to be tight here. Their structure's going to be good. They're already sending a high striker, so they're really going to try and stretch the defense. Again, UConn knocked the ball away, so the umpires...
Yeah, it's going to be a green card
to send her off.
Sophie Hamilton. Funny enough, I saw the referee out of his pocket for a second bring out the yellow, and I was thinking, oh, that would be a game changer, but it was just a green. So it'll be Providence for the second time this afternoon now going up to a player. And a chance here immediately off the restart. A great tackle, though. That was Kennedy down below.
That's a great tackle from UConn. But again, I mean, Providence is kind of having the same issues that UConn's having. When they get those balls up, they're still numbers down. So they're going to want to really, you know, they're stretching the field, which is great, but they have to really get those offside strikers and midfielders jumping into the circle.
It's a giveaway to the far side. Providence trying to press forward, and UConn defender gets tumbled over. The referee will bring this back.
This is when we're going to start feeling this, you know, there's pressure to score here from Providence. There's going to be a lot more tension coming into this game, so things might get a little bit more physical. Clearly, the umpires are on top of it, trying to keep it tight from the very beginning. But these players, you know, there's a lot on the line here, so they're going to do all that they can to just obviously for Providence to get some chances offensively and for UConn to defend this 1-0 lead.
Yeah, and you mentioned about the possible physicality, but the point I was looking to bring up at the end of the third, now have it here in the fourth, UConn talk adamantly about the fact that they start a number of freshman and sophomore players. You look at the back line that they have to offer. Claire Yandever, a freshman. Courtney Kennedy, a junior, but hasn't had a whole lot of action in her first year, was a starter last year. Those are two key contributors in the back line. They're going to have to be very sure now at this stage of the game.
And so far, so good. I mean, they've really done a great job structurally of just, you know, taking away Providence's chances, not giving them too many opportunities in the circle, some good tackles. And it's really interesting, too. You got two completely different teams. You got the veterans, the seasoned team of Providence against a bit of a younger team of UConn, and it's been a really interesting game to watch so far.
And it looks like they're going to have a video referral here. Is looking to see if that was a corner or if that ball was just outside the area. I wonder if perhaps if this is coming from UConn or if this is just the referee choosing to make sure that this is the right spot. And remember, this is an important part of the game, Kirsten, as we'll take a look at it now. If Providence gets the call or keeps the call in their favor, it's going to be a corner.
So it looks like she took the free hit.
And I think they're looking at that. Was that the right spot for the corner?
It's really hard to see exactly what he called there because she took the free hit, and it looks like she got just about 5 yards. So it's not totally clear what the umpires are looking at here, but I think that the UConn team is certainly feeling that elevation to a corner was a bit harsh.
So we'll take a look at it again as the coaches are having a meeting with the referees down below.
So the question is whether she was 5 yards away or not. So it looks like he called the corner because the UConn defender was not 5 yards away. So when the free hit is starting outside of the circle, within the 25, everybody has to be within, 5 yards away from the play. As long as you don't step in and influence the play, it shouldn't be elevated to the corner. But we're going to look here and see if they stepped in. It looks like they're pretty clearly hands up, but it's whether that player right there was 5 yards away, and that's at the discretion of the umpire. It's really hard, it's hard to see from this angle, but it looks like she started from 5 yards. So they're talking about it now. We'll see what they say in the video booth.
Again, this is a major call right now because if you're Providence, if you get the corner, it's your best road to get back level. There's our video judge still looking this over, and you can understand why they're going to take as much time as they need to make sure that they get this decision right. However, this does allow an opportunity for the coaches to get a quick chat. UConn huddling over to the near side, and now a couple of the Providence players are coming over. And it seems that the referees have a decision. And
So
it's
they're
going to be a corner.
They're going to stay with the corner. And this is going to be Providence's best chance so far this half. This is the first corner of the half, if I'm not mistaken. And attacking penalty corners in field hockey, it's one of the best chances you can get offensively because depending on how many players you want to put up on the circle. So it looks like they'll have about 8 or 9 against 5, and you get a direct shot. So we'll see what they have up their sleeve here. It's not been Providence's strength in the regular season, but you always want these odds, especially when it comes to numbers.
5 goals off 131 penalty corners, including the one taken in the first. But you have to take the opportunities when given. This ball sent back across. This is Mendez, blocked away. And a foul calls possession back to the Huskies. It looked like a pretty well set up corner. They got the chance, but they don't convert.
That's right. I mean, that give and go was great. Just keeps the defenders moving. But whenever you have your first shot on a penalty corner and it's a backswing, which we're going to see here, you have to keep the ball. It has to cross the goal line below that board. So you see that board. That's why we have those boards on the field hockey cages. If you have a backswing, the ball needs to stay at the board. So when it comes off high like that, if the umpire senses that there's any danger or if it's too high, they're going to call it coming out.
And immediately on the counter, here comes Lindsey Dickinson into the area as Rice has to kick it away and ends up finding an outlet to the far side.
Another great testament to these two goalkeepers in this game, just as Cheyenne did earlier in the half. Just a great clear right to their defenders to keep the ball moving, keep possession.
Yeah, all 4 coaches, I think, agree that of the goalies that we have here in this tournament, this is the best that you can get. And that's what you have to face at this time of the year. You're facing the best of the best, whether it's a conference tournament, an NCAA tournament. You're not going to get an easy day.
Yeah, I think it was Coach Stevens that brought it to our attention that all 4 of the goalkeepers in this tournament are the stats leaders in all of the goalkeeping statistics for the Big East Conference. So it's such a strength of this group, and I think we're just going to see some really exciting goalkeeping throughout the weekend.
Especially coming up later is Cam McGillivray, an outstanding young prospect for Old Dominion. We'll see her in just a bit. And just look at what Liberty's done over the past couple of years as Kelsey Robles now being the goalie for the U.S. national team.
Yeah, that's right. She's done a great job for Team USA. And
chance across, and it's put in. Maddie Ray giving UConn a 2-goal lead. Counter-attacking Ray right there waiting for the pass and hammers it home.
I mean, you can be a greatest goalkeeper in the world, and when you have an open player and you're going to have to move your angle as the shot's coming, it's going to be always really hard to make that play. She was just positioned so perfectly for that just one-time shot on the goal.
It was a beautiful little backhand pass to get her on her way as well. And, grade A chances, they don't come as easy as that. It was pretty direct, but she held her nerve and finished it off. Ray now a goal and an assist on the day here. UConn up 2 to the good. The assist to Svea Boker, as now that is point number 49 on this season. Oh, by the way, Boker is already 3rd in program history in career assists. That's her 54th of her career.
Wow. And you can see here, I mean, this is where UConn just shows they have such great skill when it comes to defense, and when they're in really small spaces, they have great stick work. They do a good job of just, working through these tight spots with a lot of people, keep the ball and get a foul. It's always something they've been really great at, and it looks like it's carrying through with this squad this year too.
And Ray has really capitalized against league opponents this year. 4 goals, 3 assists in Big East regular season competition, and it's now 4 straight games with her with at least 1 point. So a player in the right form at the right time is O'Reilly. The backhanded efforts put aside by Sprecher. And immediately Providence comes back, reminding UConn defensively there's still a lot of time left.
Mary O'Reilly has just really shined in this game. I mean, that reception that she made just to get past the defender with 1 touch was, super high level. And then to get that shot off and make Cheyenne make a save, great job. She's been just a really important player for this Providence team this year. Look at that.
That's a beautiful save. I mean,
Beautiful
again,
save.
there's a little bit of traffic in front of her, and you never know. Could there be a deflection in front? There was a player right on top of the keeper. And you can't overcommit.
Nope, and that just shows that Cheyenne has a lot of trust in her defenders. She's going to trust that they're keeping those players out of the way so that she can make the save.
The giveaway nearly turned into a counterattack as McKenna Sergi almost got through. Now, it's an interesting one. You talk about the trust with the defenders. We talk about how young this UConn team is. They've all come up together because they're all first and second year starters. There's a chance on the backhand. That ball blocked down and will go the other way. But back to the point, yeah, they're young, but they're growing as a unit.
Yeah, and I think, all of these players, they've come from elite programs, whether it's from, the country they're coming from in Germany or the Netherlands, or they're coming from the United States, and they're coming from great club and high school programs in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. They come to this program being the best of the best, and now they get the opportunity to just play at this high level on a great surface, and they're clearly thriving.
Good work by Mendez out wide. It will be possession. No, they're going to say it's actually back over to UConn here with under 8 minutes to go. And both goals for the Huskies coming in the second half. It's almost similar to the regular season meeting between these teams. Yes, it was 3-0 to UConn, but the goals for the Huskies at the right times. Good stretch by Neve Going. Sophomore from Dublin, Ireland, her first year with the program. Draws the restart just outside the area. Going, part of the Irish under-21 international, and this one again just outside the area.
You could have convinced me that foot was just inside the circle, but he's closer to it than us, so I'm going to give it to him.
Good pressure by Ray. Coming back a little bit in defense as well, getting the job done. It's a foul against UConn here the near side.
And there we go again. It's that 5-yard rule that they need to be. They need to allow whoever's receiving that aerial ball to settle it to the ground, and that, that's just for safety. So she needs to have that space, and it looks like UConn's just encroaching a little bit more and more, and they're gonna have to be careful because as the game goes on, as we get closer to the end, it could be interpreted as a sort of delay of game. So the umpire's gonna be on top of that, and UConn's just gonna have to be careful. And this might be where the youth of UConn might come to start to show as we get to this place where they need to have a little bit more game management. It's definitely a higher level skill that veteran players understand, and takes a little while for younger players to understand.
Chance for a break here as Ray springs Boker to the far side. Even numbers coming now for the Huskies in attack. Boker still going as a player in the area, tries to back in and across. And how about that from the veteran? Well, she lost the handle. That's okay. Just flip it onto the backhander in a corner.
I mean, and that is what makes University of Connecticut an elite team. And so, even though their numbers down, it was a beautiful pass, the outside shoulder to really eliminate a lot of defenders. And even when they have numbers up, she's just able to cut somebody off. Great stick work, and as it's about to go out, just catches that foot. And it's unfortunate, I think the Providence defender, she just wasn't expecting it, so it was a great job. Great pass to set it up, too, from that midfielder.
I mean, there's so much instinct that comes into that, but when you have a player of her caliber and Svea Boker, you're going to get those opportunities. Drag flick blocked away, still on here. Backhander goes wide. It was Gooderham. Wasn't able to tuck it inside the near post. And immediately Providence looked to hit on the counter. Now, Kirsten, you have to wonder as well, watching a couple of ACC tournament games last night, and, well, teams pulling the goalies rather early on in this scenario. So Wake Forest actually do it against Boston College. I think it was about with 6 minutes left. You wonder, again, if you're going to go down fighting, you wonder when Diane Maddle's going to look to take out Lydia Rice.
Yeah, it's definitely something I'm sure she's considering, and it's I think it's got to be a decision you make whether your team's comfortable with it. If something you've practiced, you might, if it's not something that you've done in the past, it's not really a place where put your team outside of their comfort zone. But if it's something you're used to, if you can get an extra player on the field, get some stretch, and put some more pressure on these UConn defenders, you're gonna do it. But we'll see what she decides to do. I know Lydia is such an important part of this team. Her communication, all those things are going to be really important. So we'll see if Coach Maddle decides she wants to keep her in or take her out.
Yeah, right now, Rice is up to 4 saves on the afternoon, including a couple of dandies, one especially back in the first half to keep her team in it. But at the same time, too, Providence have to break through and have some sustained pressure. So UConn switching to the near side. That ball took a deflection off of a foot and another corner to come. That was Sophie Hamilton generating that opportunity.
Yeah, you feel a little bit shift of the momentum here, even though Providence is still in really good position, still throwing down a little bit more tackles. You can see this sort of surge from the Huskies. They're just doing a much better job being strong on the ball, really getting some good fouls, and taking advantage of these chances in the 25. So we'll see how many penalty corners have they had so far this quarter. This is their 8th one of so we'll see. They've shown us a lot of options, and you might be getting to the point of the game where they don't want to reveal too much to the other 2 teams that are without a doubt scouting this game. So we might just keep it on frame, keep it simple.
Simple, nearly worked out there as Yondevert. There's the one you were looking for, that lower drag flick, but once again, Rice coming up with the needed stop.
She's such an explosive goalkeeper. She just covers the cage so well. So she's really taken away a lot of these chances from a really creative attack penalty corner unit from UConn.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you have 8 corners coming from the Huskies, usually they're about good for a goal a game off of a corner. They've scored 19 off of a corner. This is match number 20. Not too many teams can say that they survived 60 minutes against Nancy Stevens' club without giving up a goal from a restart. Well, Providence nearly there, but again, nearly there isn't good enough right now. You have to wonder now, with under 4 minutes to go, if they sustain enough pressure, will the goalie come off?
Looking down at the sideline, it doesn't look like there are any plans at the moment for it to happen. So it looks like they're just really going to rely on the group that they've got out there to generate some attacking opportunities.
But of course, here comes the counterattack here. It's 3-on-3. Ray again, spinning to the near side. Backhand kick save, still loose, and the rebound goes wide. That was Sergi close distance, didn't get it. Boker was the one right on the doorstep.
I mean, this shot is just beautiful. To a one trap to a reverse chip shot was really great. And even I think Lydia had her weight kind of planted on the outside, but she's explosive enough that she could still make that save. So just really great hockey from both ends there. UConn, great shot. Providence, great save.
Good tracking back to the far side, and a foul gets called as Kenny wins it away. But Providence can't even get out of their own half right now. Just stuck in a bit, and it's not like UConn's throwing too much pressure. It's just 3 on the front line, and they seem to win it every time. And Sergi once again will take it into the corner. You also wonder when UConn will go into game management mode, knowing that they are leading by 2, but it seems that number 3 is going to be good enough. That shot goes wide. In fact, for UConn, that's now shot number 20 here in this contest. It's the 8th in this quarter alone.
Yeah, they've really surged in this quarter, and I think Providence has gone a little bit away from their discipline and their press and their structure. And of course, you're in it to win it, so they're really surging ahead and they're taking some risks that they're hoping are going to pay off, so they can get some attacking opportunities. But UConn's just taking advantage of these just a couple missed passes or bobbles on the ball.
Long ball straight forward, looking for Mendez. That's covered up by Yondevert. Under 2 minutes left to go here. Providence looking for one last roll of the dice to get themselves back into this game. The possession will go back over here. Providence, only 90 seconds left. Again, Friars have to hurry.
Yeah.
Only generated 5 total shots in this game. 3 are on target, and Sprecher had to come up with one really good save in the second half. But certainly, again, going to be a little too late.
Providence is still doing a good job. They have this press on, but as soon as the ball turns over, it gets farther down the field, they're leaving a striker up high just to keep stretching this UConn defense so that if they get an attacking opportunity, they have some options higher up the field. So that's more good discipline from the Providence team to just stick to the game plan, even in these moments where things are getting, time's winding down.
Yeah, last minute left to go here, and it seems that now the result is pretty much all insecure. However, you can say this much for Providence. This was a true game effort. They put an outstanding battle for 16 minutes. UConn had to go down, dig pretty deep into their book and try to find a way to persevere. So they do also say class is class at the end of the day, and when you're up against it, UConn will find a way to win.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I think, what did we say yesterday? 4 regular season championships, 3 postseason Big East championships for UConn, and a few national championships sprinkled in there. So
in the last couple of years, mind you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, they know how to win. They're a team they're a championship team that knows how to come and deliver in the clutch. So, but they've really been tested by this Providence team today.
As UConn with 2 second-half goals, they take it by 2-0 over Providence. However, the score will say one thing. This was just an outstanding semifinal. And if this sets the bar for this first semifinal, I cannot wait for the rest of the weekend. But UConn moving on. They'll face the winner of Old Dominion and Liberty coming up a little bit. We'll have a chat with our player of the match in a few moments. You're watching a presentation of the 2019 Big East Field Hockey Championships presented by G.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
Divine Providence. It's a reason why Providence is making that trajectory toward greatness.
If we get you on this campus and you just walk around for an hour or so, you're going to feel something that's qualitatively different.
Providence College is a place that has helped people think, thrive, and achieve. Divine Providence is right here. Open your eyes.
Though we are many, we are part of something. A force bigger than all of us. Our distinct fingerprints collectively shaping and forever changing what makes UConn, UConn. Forever making our mark. Forever making UConn a part of us.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
Divine Providence. It's a reason why Providence is making that trajectory toward greatness.
If we get you on this campus and you just walk around for an hour or so, you're going to feel something that's qualitatively different.
Providence College is a place that has helped people think, thrive, and achieve. Divine Providence is right here. Open your eyes.
Though we are many, we are part of something. A force bigger than all of us. Our distinct fingerprints collectively shaping and forever changing what makes UConn, UConn. Forever making our mark. Forever making UConn a part of us.
Semifinal number 1 in the books here in Hamden, Connecticut. UConn moving on to the final with a 2-0 scoreline. A goal and an assist for Maddie Ray. She's standing by now with our Megan Caffrey.
Thanks, JJ. I'm now joined with Maddie Ray. Maddie, your team scored both of your goals in the second half. And talking with Coach Stevens at the half, she said your team was getting so many opportunities, just nothing was coming through. What was the difference in the second half for you guys?
I think we knew that we just had to wait our time and, it would come and build momentum. As long as we have people up and our defensive effort was great, I think we knew it was going to happen.
You're headed off to the Big East championship game for you the second time. You're a sophomore, and your team has really established the legacy in the Big East. What are you looking forward to with getting back to the championship game again?
I'm just so glad. The season here is quite short that we even get to go to postseason, and it's a real team effort to get us there, and I'm just excited to play, really.
We were talking about it a little bit before the interview with just the environment that is here. A ton of UConn fans traveled here. What is the environment playing in the tournament like?
It's electric. Everyone's behind us. We can hear the crowd. The stadium, it's really close onto the field. And so it's just really nice that our fans get behind us.
Maddie, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
JJ?
Thank you very much, Megan. And to Maddie Israel, an outstanding performance of a goal and an assist for the sophomore from England. That's going to do it here for us, but in just a little bit over an hour, we'll have the second semifinal between number 3 seed Liberty and number 2 seed Old Dominion. For our entire production team, broadcast team of Megan Caffrey and Kirsten Gebhardt, I'm JJ Duke signing off. UConn takes the first semifinal over Providence by 2-0. Till next time, goodbye for now.